Yo, what's going on, Lucas and Chuck? How are we? Yeah, let's go ahead and dig in, man. Yeah, beginners. Right? So we got to know some things with some chicken picking stuff. We got to know its origin points and it's interesting that rock has this bed, no pun intended, but this bedrock of foundation with the blues and stuff like that. Chicken picking's got very similar foundation. Like there's a lot of blues in chicken picking. The thing that I hear a lot of you guys always interested in this kind of stuff. I see it in my analytics too. Like you guys love the breakdowns on the Albert Lee and Brent Mason type of stuff. And I think it's important to know about the origins and what if you've never done any of this kind of stuff at all? I take it for granted because I love this style of music. And friends of mine in the industry, we always talk about the quintessential things and the really hot, whatever the new James Mitchell solo is, or hey, this Brad Paisley moment, or hey, Brent, or whatever, of different moments in time of Telecaster slinging, right? Johnny Highland or whoever it may be. And it's important to know some really good fundamental stuff. Like that may end up being a video that I make for the channel, which is like origin point material, right? Ray Price things. That's really quintessential. All right. Those kind of pedal steel things that happen in those records. We as guitar players use the term, it's a pedal steel lick, but we never actually go back in time to the 50s and listen to the pedal steel guys do it, right? So I think today I wanted to just kind of talk to you guys about what I think is fundamental, what I think is beginner type level chicken picking stuff. Things like Mama Tried, like I played a little bit of it at the beginning, right? If you're into cross picking, or you've hit me up about cross picking, which most people tend to do, let's hit that tuner. What do you say? Let's tune that thing up real quick. The old tuner here. Get it at least close. Get it sort of kind of close, right? A lot of you guys ask me about cross picking a lot, and a great time to start. Will's in the house. Will's a great telly player, by the way. Everybody go check out Will Barton's stuff. A lot of people ask about the cross picking thing, and you can hear it at the top of Mama Tried. I'm not gonna give you the note for note version because honestly I can't remember it without hearing it, but it's something to the effect of so you end up like making a D chord, a D triad, or not even triad really, there's no third in there, right? It's 1 3 1 1 5, and then you get the sus. And then there's the third, right? A lot of right hand action going on that, and it's actually quicker than you realize it. So this is a good one for beginners to dig into. Like at speed, it's something close to something around that tempo, and it can get you tangled up pretty easily, right? If you're not used to this type of thing. This thing also scales in difficulty. Like it can get, it can get wacky and really advanced in a hurry, right? Like what would be an advanced kind of cross picking? Like some of those kind of things can get really hard to alternate pick. They can get really intricate, But let's just talk about that basic one for beginners, right? So I see somebody over here in the corner saying, I thought you had to use your fingers for chicken picking. We're getting there. We're going to get there. But first, before you use your fingers, you've got to be able to sound Southern with the flat pick. It's an evolutionary of flat picking, right? Bluegrass guitar players ended up being your country guitar players, right? Like your guys that played flat top acoustic ended up being some of your first guys that bought the Telecaster, right? So phrasing within just a Southern kind of context, something like that. That's all flat picked. It's important that you're able to get in and out of the strings. Right? So it's that fluidity that really... So we're going to worry about doing it without the chicken picking finger thing first. We're just going to be trying to go. So let me slow that down. Again, this is an approximation. I haven't listened to Mama Tried and really studied it in years, but I'm recalling it sort of from memory, right? So what I'm trying to do is just get a three string, right? Down, up, down, and alternate pick my way through all of it without having to get tangled up or anything like that. I'm just trying to alternate pick my way through all of it. Right? So from that point, the next thing would be to start introducing your middle finger into it. And just start going up and down through pedal tones. Right? So I'm using the middle finger for the G and the pick for the D. I'm just playing things through G. Sorry. I'm just playing chord tones, double stops through the key of D. So I have like a D double stop, a G double stop, right? And then we're gonna move that up. A, B minor, C, because it's a dominant kind of sound, right? We have that sound very, very, very often. Very common chicken picking sound. Right? Now I'll start using that middle finger. Now you can have a wider interval if you use the middle finger for the B string. Oh, I see somebody saying 40 years of rock player. No, man, it's stuff that's super available. Super available. We have major pentatonic. That's where the Mama Tried thing is. Now, if we're going to just start doing some basic chicken picking through there, let's just start with putting the middle finger on the higher strings and the pick on the lower strings. Right? Some cool pedal steel bends. We'll get into that. But what I want you to do is look at the boxes that you play all the time. Pentatonic stuff. And then the rock stuff that's there, the same. And then you start putting the chicken picking to the rock stuff, right? Very classic kind of pentatonic thing, right? Or Zakk Wylde, right? Right. So now you can start putting the chicken picking spin, blending those two pentatonics. Right, so you'd have like right. It's just the next evolution. That's the next evolution of it, where instead of looking at the root in my first finger all the time, I'm doing it in like, I'm trying to keep that higher pitch in the middle finger and the ring finger and pedal it around. Right? I mean, check out the chat here. You guys are kind of rolling. Good to see everybody hanging out with us today. Let me check out the chat. Okay. Rod here has got a question. He says, I'm okay with irid picking. I can pick as quick as any, he says. I can't get away from the blues vibe. What is it that I'm not getting? So eliminating the blues vibe from your chicken picking stuff, I don't think you truly can, right? I think the blues is going to kind of be there. But if you've got to do something that's really major, that's where I like guys like Jimmy Olander, right? Like he's got a great way of playing. He's got really great voicings for like really nice major sounding things. So the first thing I would look at is if you can't eliminate the blues thing, it's probably because you're not comfortable enough with just ignoring the minor third. Okay? Say it one more time. If you can't eliminate the blues vibe, you probably are just leaning into that minor third a lot. This guy. Right? Probably used to playing a lot of your rock licks like that. Right? So like we gotta try to get some major sounding things going on. So what I'm gonna look at is literally the major scale, multiple different positions across the fretboard. Right? And I'm gonna start incorporating those open strings. So it would be really beneficial to take the fretboard and not play it in blocks like this. It's keeping your hand in one area. You got to look at it from a linear standpoint. Right? All major. Even though I'm playing a C sharp minor there, it's still just E major, right? Right? So the chicken thing kind of comes into play, again, leaning into that fiddle tune aspect. You have fiddle tunes that would be really happy and major and bouncy, right? Notice that I didn't play an open G. I didn't play this sound. I was playing major, super major. Right? All super easy major scale stuff. And then you start rolling into those hybrid licks. And the pedal steel thing. Yeah, a little pitchy. So let me show you a couple of those pedal steel bends that I keep leaning into. A lot of them are just built around thirds. So like the ones I did down here. If you've heard Andy Timmons' new song, right? It's the wrong key, but that's the right intervals. I think it's maybe where does he play that thing? I think it's here, right? That thing, right? That thing. You're hearing this like 5, 1, 2, 3. Those are the intervals that are happening. So let's have this. You have the intervals that are happening. Be like 5, 1, 2, 3. 5, 1, 2, 3 in the key of E. Right? So now instead of playing that, right, we're going to take that Andy Timmons thing, and now we're going to play it like, make it a country pedal steel lick, because essentially, you know, it's not that far away, like the Chopin thing, the Timmons thing, melodic playing, Beatles, Jeff Beck or whatever. Melodic, you can, now we're going to bend that up. We're going to bend this note up. Go to the A triad and do the same. Right? Now those bends are going to exist every time you get to the 1, 2, 3. There it is. Right, and then you could have. Right? Now around this area, we can also have their 4-chord. Around the 4-chord. That's a fun one because it comes from the 6. Kind of Diamond Rio-esque. That kind of thing. Or was it? Sorry. Really hard to get in tune today. Yeah, the obviously this gets more difficult as the string gauge gets heavier, right? And it's also really hard to do slow. I feel like I can do it more in tune when I'm playing fast. My hands are just used to bending it. When I'm trying to like explain it and do it slow, it feels all unnatural. The next thing we would want to add into our chicken picking kind of recipe for beginners is the double stop thing in general, right? Like, so just like we were playing this one. You see how when I play it fast, it's like easy to get in tune? I play it slow, I can't get it in tune. Okay, so like the next thing I would add would be like adding in 2 notes at the same time, call them double stops, right? You probably hear guys like in the modern funk and neo soul range doing stuff like those kind of licks, right? These kind of things can happen with Southern flair just as equally as cool, right? I'm just taking 2 notes at a time. And if you're trying to find these kind of harmonies, you take a bottom note. Let's take this. Now we're going to put double stops with it. Very classic country move is just to slide in from a half step below. Right? As we mentioned earlier too, you also have it where the high note could be a pedal tone and it stays the same. That kind of thing right there is kind of nice too, right? So when you're taking your double stops, look at your blues stuff that you already know how to do, like these Chuck Berry things. You know, you're taking the Stevie Ray Vaughan isms, right? Kind of immediately it sounds more country and chicken. Okay, here's a question coming in. Can you show your right hand better to see how you're using your fingers? Yeah. About right there. Controlling the muting with the palm, right? Right, so you're getting that kind of thing. Trying to brain fart on the muting. Right? Even in single note lines, instead of playing... still happening here, right? So I'm taking all the licks again that I know that are just like basic rock licks. And kind of twisting them to sit more country. Right, kind of sit more country. How do you control the muting? Is it mostly index and ring? It's a lot of pick into middle and ring. Middle and ring are doing it, right? That's how they're doing it. Right hand technique is so important. Yeah, for sure. What kind of amp settings are you using? And pickup configuration. This is just a 3-way classic setup. This is my signature single coils that you're hearing into the Sir Woodshed compressor, into the Sir Bella. So if I turn off the compressor, it sounds like this. I turn on the compressor. So the compressor is actually acting a lot like a boost, like definitely pushing that amp a lot. And I don't think there's a better compressor on the market. I mean, me and Kevin worked really hard to dial that thing in, Kevin Sir, and worked really hard to get that thing sounding right. It really sounds great. JV's Hangout says floating bridges are harder because the underlying note goes slightly flat. Yeah, absolutely. I learned to use my palm to press down ever so slightly on the tremolo. Yeah, I do that often too. Good beginner songs to learn. Stressing beginner. Working man blues. Like learning working man blues is really, really good one. And there a million people play that intro a million different ways. I think on the original recording it's got I think it's got a little bend on the Haggard version. But if you play the main riff, that's like one of the most quintessential country riffs. Is really quintessential. Also really quintessential, not quintessential, it's not the right word. One of my favorite beginner riffs that you can learn is Who's Cheating Who, Alan Jackson. Doesn't take a lot. That's a really good one to like get into for like starting to get used to that clawing kind of motion, right? Really, really good one to start off with. Mama Tried with just the that thing, right? You're gonna hear everybody play that all the time, right? Everybody's gonna be playing that one. Now, are you picking and just plucking with one finger or two? So when I play with one finger, it's gonna sound like more like that, like that kind of thing. If I use two, I get those double stops, right? I'm using a pick. I'm not using a thumb pick, right? Using a pick. That thing. What is that? I don't know. Something close like that. But when I use the double fingers, I'm getting the double stops. When I'm using both of these two, I'm getting those kind of things, right? The single finger would be a lot more like Brad Paisley, right? That thing. Brad uses a little more overdrive, kind of more this kind of sound. Yeah, he's a little more of a overdrive kind of guy. So Bryce is saying, like, what's that you mean by claw? I don't really have a better way to term it, but you're not really using your fingers like this, like individually. You're kind of locking them down and just using like a pulling motion. It's not really like you're wiggling them a lot, right? So it's like when I lock everything into position that I'm going to play, you can kind of see, here's this angle, right? I'm not even using the pick right there. I'm not even using my thumb. So then I'll drop the pick in with the first finger and the thumb. whatever that little lick is. I don't remember. That's an old tune called Highland Boogie or whatever. This is a Helicaster tune. I used to play it a lot as a kid. Obviously, I don't remember it. Are you using a lot of open strings with your chicken picking? I mean, no more than normal. I would say the normal rock guy doesn't use any open strings. Normal country guy using open strings a lot, right? Yeah. Good habits would be really, really good tone, like really good tone. That's the thing to look into. Hang on, I'm thirsty. Really good tone is the biggest thing, right? Getting a good confident sound, right? Yeah. Getting good tone is really the big one for me. From there, a pitfall is overthinking all of the movements in the right hand to where you're either too tight and too constricted that it's not fluid, or you're just kind of flopping around. It's way too loose. JV saying Brad Paisley plays some licks that aren't exactly musically correct, but it's so fast it sounds good. So if you slow some of those licks down, it'll sound out of key at points. Here's the thing about that. Musically correct is correct. Like, let me say that one more time. There is diatonically correct, and then there's musically correct. You could say that Kurt Cobain was not musically correct, but in reality he was, because he played his music connected with a lot of different people. So don't get caught up in the rules of playing music. That's pro tip for today. Play what you like. Play what sounds good. But what my man JV is saying that Brad plays notes that are out of key. He may be playing in B flat and hitting open strings, right? That's what he's alluding to. And yeah, you play them slow and they are out of key, but it's part of stylistically his choice as an artist, and I think that's important to embrace. Again, with the Kurt Cobain comparisons, like you play stuff that's not right, but it ends up being right because it's cool, right? It ends up being cool. Yeah. So we've got checking out over here. Dustin Chang says, do you keep your fingers assigned to a particular string? Keep that, even if you don't need to use it. No, I do not assign the fingers to strings, but what I do assign is the feel. For example, the pick and the fingers being a certain distance away from each other. Now watch what happens as I travel from the highest strings, the treble strings, down to the bass strings. That I just played. So I move it as I go down, right? So here's the bass strings. Here's the treble strings. So I'm using it for tone. Again, I can't stress this enough, guys. I'm using it for the tone. I want that pop. You can hear it in my tone Junktown. If I play Junktown without any distortion on, it sounds like a country song. Put a little dirt on there. Right. Go back to the clean thing, right? And that attitude and that aggression comes a lot more for the way you're playing with the right hand, more so than like an effect, right? Like the most important thing in the country signal chain to me is a good compressor. It's gotta sound right for country, because the wrong compressor is going to squeeze it really hard, and it's going to make your tone sound real thin, and you're not going to have a lot of good dynamics. That's what I like about the Woodshed comp, is it lets all your transients come through, right? You can hear everything, right? You can hear every little nuance, but it still sounds nice for the. In how to alternate pick odd note groupings, there's a grouping of 7 that whenever I play a downstroke when going down a string, even if it means consecutive downstrokes, does that defeat the point? I would lean into what feels right, because it's like at that point you're going to get really semantical on, is that the right word? Semantical? You're going to get too close to details of what you're supposed to do, and you're not going to let the feeling guide you on what's going to feel right, because that's you guys got to understand, like, I mean, a lot of my favorite chicken pickers, they didn't even use a flat pick, they used like a thumb pick. So I'm mutating a lot of things based on feel, like when I play hot wired or whatever, or when I try to play hot wired, I'm not really playing it like Brent, because Brent's got that thumb pick, right? So I got to play things to like fit what I need in the feel of it. So I would really focus on the tone and the sound more than the feel, and get the one that you think is sounding the best when you're playing it at speed, and then just polish that out. And you may discover that the way you travel through a string is going to be more efficient if you do something that goes against the rules. Like, again, it's like, we can only play by the rules so much before you start painting yourself into a corner. Daryl says Scott nailed it. Passing tones, chromatic approaches helps him land on target notes on the beats. Yeah, exactly. So let's get a look at that, like the target notes, passing tones. A lot of this is like bebop style enclosures. Yeah. A lot of chromatic there. I'm using the flat 5 in 2 different positions. So those are the 2 flat 5s I'm using. But I may use it down here. I may use it right here. Lead us up to the 4 chord, right? All right. Hey, Andy, can I pick your brain about something. Hey, Eddie, how are you? Of course, man, the master classes. So people don't realize on Wednesday nights we do a 2-hour master class on my YouTube channel. And that master class is all kinds of different topics. Sorry, not YouTube channel, Patreon. So if anybody is interested, please join us over at Patreon. We have a great master class, a great community over there. And you get a weekly live Zoom masterclass at the combo tier. And if you're interested in private lessons, you can book those at the monster tier. And if you just want to have access to all those exclusive videos, and like today or yesterday, I uploaded a Axe Effects Van Halen patch that I made. If you want access to that, that's just $5. So yeah, the masterclass. So Eddie's talking about the masterclass, and he said here, where did Eddie's comment go? Sorry, I missed it, Eddie. Yeah, thanks, Chuck. Looking for Eddie's comment. Eddie, did you delete the comment or did I miss it? Is it gone? I see Daryl. Scott nailed it. Passing tones. William missed most of the stream. That's all right. I'll leave it up. Sahar says, will Steve Morse be on the new album? No. Here's Eddie's comment. Can I pick your brain about something during the next masterclass? Yes, you absolutely can. And bring that topic to the table. Ethan says, love that sort of playing. The Venmo diagram between early country and Western swing and jazz is almost a circle. Yeah, the Venn diagram. Yeah, Venmo diagram. Yeah, correct, Bryce. Scott says, if you're really slick, you can stick leading tones in where it creates the illusion of a chord resolution and creates a propelling bouncing thing. Yeah, that's correct. That's spot on, Scott. A lot of really hot players use those leading tones to do exactly that. Cheers, guys. I hope everyone's had a good time today on the old telly-whacking episode. I think it'd be fun to just kind of let the world kind of sit on the sidelines and do something like this. It's just hyper focused on one thing. Hope everyone's having a great week. Working hard on the new album. We'll be announcing a pre-sale for the new album, and that's going to include some really cool things. We're offering that at different packages, and I'll be announcing that later this week / next week. And I'm excited for you guys to hear the new record. It's really shaping up nicely. I had a meeting with my art guy, a guy named Nick Potter, who did the tattoo that's on my forearm. And Nick is got some really cool artwork to go with it. The name of the album will be Charisma. And I'm excited for you guys to see the artwork and hear some of the songs. Jim Riley has turned in some really good drums, man. So just drumming that I wouldn't expect, which is always nice. And then I'll be getting locked in with some of you guys on Patreon. Been doing lessons this week, so always make sure that you have your notifications. Click the like button if you're watching this. Subscribe, all those kind of things. It really helps the channel. If you enjoy what we do here and you just want to see the channel continue, please consider hitting up Patreon. That's how we keep the bills paid and keep this thing rolling like we do. With that said, man, the next masterclass on Zoom will be tomorrow night. The Zoom is a really fun interactive platform because I don't have to look over and read. It's like you guys can just talk to me and I can hear your guitar and stuff like that. I can hear you playing. So it's actually really, really great for that specific thing. Thanks, Chuck. Chuck's got the link right there for patreon.com/AndyWoodMusic. And as always, if you're interested in album transcriptions, if you're interested in the album transcriptions, things like Smoke Wagon, or you maybe wanting to learn some of this stuff, I definitely look at Smoke Wagon as a great tune. That thing right there. Right, so really cool stuff in that one. There's a really cool like diminished lick in that. That thing's really fun. So if you're interested in that Smoke Wagon transcription, Junktown, all of those kind of things, as well as an Axe Effects patch to play along with, all that's over at Andy Wood Music Guitar, or AndyWoodMusic.com. AndyWoodMusic.com. Chuck's got the Woodshed Guitar Experience link pulled up, and Woodshed is going to be a blast this year. We got a few slots left. This year we've got Eric Johnson, Seth Rosenblum, Brent Mason, Mark Lettieri, Andy Timmons, Greg Koch, myself. Hope I didn't forget somebody. It's such a stacked lineup of just freak show players. I'm really excited. It's 4 days in about an hour outside of Nashville, and we'll be doing a lot of picking, a lot of lessons, master classes, tone master classes, talking. There will be all kinds of nice things there. If you're a guitar lover and you love just some great weekend retreat in beautiful Tennessee with some of the best guitar players on the planet, right? We cover all your lodging and alcohol and all that kind of stuff. Food and everything was really, really great. This is our 4th year doing it. So Woodshed Guitar Experience. So go over there, hit that up, check that out. Also, there's installment plans for the payment, so you don't have to feel like you got to shell it all out at once. It's really, really great. Brady over there takes care of everything. She's fantastic. Shout out to Brady. And looking forward to doing it this year. Hope everyone has a great rest of the week. I'll be grinding it out, getting the content done, getting all the things handled that need to be handled. We got a question here for the Woodshed compressor settings that I'm using today. Ratio is round about noon. The threshold's at about 1 o'clock and the gain is about 2 o'clock. So it's actually set pretty hot, but I'm actually just using it for those settings for single coils on the country telly thing. I actually just adjusted that. Dustin, make sure you got your bell on. Click the bell for the notifications. Thank you guys for hanging out. I'm gonna leave this up. As always, you can go back and retro watch all the episodes here. Again, please hit up Patreon if you enjoy the channel. I'll be doing a video this week. We're doing a couple of videos. One will be on beginner basics for chicken picking. I think it's a great topic, and we'll keep at it. I'll also be doing maybe one on the Van Halen. I made a Van Halen patch on the Axe Effects. Sounds pretty good, and gave it to the Patreon members. So with that said, we got album around the corner. Be on the lookout for the pre-sale, the pledge, and then woodshedguitarexperience.com, and that should be all the housekeeping. That should be everything. Thank you guys for hanging out this week, and we'll see you real soon.